This video is about the mother was mocked her, but a billionaire gave her a fortune. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The sun broke through the grey clouds that shrouded the small town of Willow Creek, casting golden rays over the dilapidated houses that lined the streets. Among them stood a modest little home where Sarah Jennings lived with her 2 children, Emma and Jake. Their laughter echoed through the halls, but the beauty of those sounds was often drowned out by the whispers of the neighbors who judged from their windows. "Look at her," one would say, peering through lace curtains. "Always wearing the same worn-out clothes, how could she expect her kids to have a better future? Well, she should have thought twice before having them," another would chime in, scoffing. "A single mother without a job? She has just bring them down with her." Sarah tried her best to shield her children from the cruelty of the world. Every day was a struggle, each moment a test of her resilience. Waking up before dawn, she would prepare breakfast, usually oatmeal with a dash of brown sugar, and ensure Emma and Jake had their backpacks ready for school. She would kiss their foreheads and send them off with a smile, even if her heart ached from the weight of her worries. "Mom, can I have a new backpack?" Emma asked one morning, her voice hopeful. Sarah looked at the faded, patched-up bag with a sigh. "WLLC, sweetheart, let us focus on your studies for now. That's what matters." The truth was, they could hardly afford a new backpack, let alone the luxuries that other kids enjoyed. Sarah had worked odd jobs for years, cleaning houses and serving at the local diner. But with every paycheck, more bills piled up and her dreams of a better life slid further away. One evening, she sat at the kitchen table, staring at her meager income from the week. The numbers didn't add up, and tears brimmed in her eyes as she thought of the rent that was due. Just then, Emma and Jake burst into the house with their usual energy. "Mom, you wouldn't believe it," Jake shouted, breathless. "We learned about space today." "Yeah, and did you know that some stars are bigger than the sun?" Emma added, her eyes sparkling. Sarah wiped her tears and smiled, pulling her kids close. "Tell me everything," she urged, her heart swelling with pride. Despite their struggles, her children found joy in the little things. They were her light, her reason to keep pushing forward. The weeks passed, and the whispers from the neighbors turned into outright mockery when Sarah's car broke down. It was an old model that sputtered and coughed before finally giving up altogether. Without the means to fix it, she felt trapped, isolated in a world that had turned its back on her. But Sarah was not easily defeated. She began walking to the diner every day, even in the pouring rain, clutching her umbrella as she navigated the puddles. The weight of her struggles felt lighter with each step, as she imagined a brighter future for her children. One day, while walking home, she spotted a flyer stuck to a lamppost. It announced the community contest with a cash prize for the best idea to uplift the town. The winner would receive a grant to bring their vision to life. "What if I enter?" she thought, excitement bubbling within her. It was a chance to not only help herself, but to inspire her community. And so, that night, Sarah sat at her kitchen table, fueled by determination and the flickering light of a single candle. She poured her heart into her proposal, crafting a plan to create a community garden where families could come together, grow food, and bond. Days turned into weeks as she worked on her project, often late into the night, while her children slept. She envisioned the place well after and life blossomed, a refuge for those who felt lost and hopeless. "Why do you care so much?" the neighbor asked, skeptical when she shared her idea. "You can barely take care of your own kids." "Because I want to change the narrative," Sarah replied, her voice steady. "We can't keep letting our circumstances dictate our futures. We deserve more, all of us." And so she pushed on, ignoring the doubts and the laughter that trailed behind her. On the day of the contest, Sarah stood nervously in front of the town council, her heart racing. The room was packed with people, many of whom had looked down on her for years. "Today, I want to talk about community," she began, her voice trembling but gaining strength. "We're stronger together. We can grow food, share resources, and foster hope for a better future." As she spoke, she noticed a distinguished figure sitting at the back of the room. It was Martin Sterling, the town's only billionaire. Rumors swirled around him. He was shrewd, cold, and often indifferent to the struggles of ordinary people. Yet there he was, listening intently as Sarah poured her heart out. When she finished, the room erupted in applause, a sound she had yearned to hear. The mayor announced that Sarah's proposal had touched a chord in everyone's hearts. "We believe in you, Sarah," the mayor said, beaming. "You will receive the grant to make this garden a reality." Her heart leaped, and tears streamed down her cheeks as she accepted the recognition. But as she turned to sit down, she caught Martin's gaze, his expression inscrutable. Days passed, and Sarah began organizing the garden. With a grant, she bought seeds, tools, and even enlisted the help of local volunteers. As they worked together, the walls that had divided the community began to crumble. Neighbors who once whispered now joined hands to cultivate the earth. Then one afternoon, as they toiled under the sun, a sleek black car pulled up beside the garden. Out stepped Martin Sterling, who approached with a mixture of curiosity and something deeper, perhaps admiration. "Sarah," he said, his voice low. "I've been watching you. You've sparked something here. People believe in you." "Thank you, Mr. Sterling," she replied cautiously, wiping sweat from her brow. "This is a community effort." "Yes, but it started with you. I want to help further," he stated, taking a deep breath. "I am willing to invest in your vision, not just for this garden, but to expand it. You could change not just this town, but many others." Her heart raced as she processed his words. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I've seen too many people struggle," he admitted, his eyes reflecting a flicker of vulnerability. "And I regret my past indifference. I want to be part of something that matters." Sarah felt a surge of hope wash over her. Perhaps this was a turning point, not just for herself, but for the community they had built together. With renewed determination, she nodded. "Then let us make it happen." As winter turned to spring, the garden flourished, and so did Sarah's relationship with her children and community. They planted seeds of hope, nurtured connections, and watched as life sprang forth from the earth. Together, they transformed not only the land but their lives, overcoming mockery with kindness and resilience. And as Sarah stood in the garden one sunny afternoon, surrounded by laughter and love, she felt the beauty of the human spirit. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope could blossom, and with it came the power to change the narrative. But as life often teaches, this was only the beginning. Challenges were far from over, and the journey ahead would test Sarah's strength and resolve. Yet she stood ready, fueled by the love of her children, the support of her community, and the unexpected partnership that might change everything. With every step she took, she knew that together they would rise. Together they would thrive, and the world would finally hear their story. As spring painted Willow Creek in vibrant hues of green and color, the community garden blossomed, a sanctuary born from Sarah's dreams and hard work. The once barren lot was now a tapestry of life, filled with rich soil, budding vegetables, and children running hand in hand, laughter filling the air like sweet music. But as the flowers blossomed, so did a different kind of pressure. Sarah felt the weight of expectations. Martin's promise to invest in her vision had sparked excitement, but it also ignited a fear she hadn't anticipated. What if she failed? What if the community didn't rally behind her? "Mom, look," Em exclaimed one afternoon, pulling her mother's hand toward the sunflowers they had planted together. "They read taller than me now." "They read beautiful, sweetheart," Sarah replied, forcing a smile as her heart raced with the weight of her responsibilities. She knelt to Emma's level, brushing a stray hair from her daughter's face. "Just like you." As they admired the sunflowers, Jake came running, his little face flushed. "Mom, can I have my friends over for a garden party?" She chuckled, her heart warming to his enthusiasm. "Absolutely, but let us make sure we have enough snacks first." That evening, as she prepared for the party, Sarah's phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Martin. "Let us meet tomorrow to discuss the next steps of the garden project." Anxiety twisted in her stomach. She had both anticipated and dreaded this moment. What if he expects too much? She murmured to herself. The next day, at a quaint cafe in town, Martin sat across from her, his demeanor serious yet approachable. "Sarah," he began, "I've been thinking about expanding your vision beyond just a garden. What if we created a community center that includes educational programs, workshops, and even job training?" Stunned, Sarah blinked. "A community center? But how would we fund that?" "I've got resources and connections. You have the vision. Together, we can turn this town around," he said, his green eyes glinting with determination. "But what if we fail?" she asked, the fear bubbling to the surface. "We'll only fail if we don't try," he replied, his voice steady. "I believe in you, Sarah." His unwavering faith began to chip away at her doubts. "Okay, let us do it," she said, her voice firm, though her heart raced with uncertainty. With newfound vigor, Sarah gathered her community. She held a meeting at the garden, inviting everyone who had contributed, no matter how small. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, she stood before them, her heart pounding. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice trembling. What we've created together in this garden is remarkable, but I believe we can do more. I want to build a community center, a place for learning, support, and growth. Murmurs spread through the crowd. A few faces were skeptical, but something shifted in the atmosphere. A community center, for us, one woman finally spoke up. But how will we manage that? With determination and teamwork, Sarah replied, locking eyes with her neighbors. We've already come so far. Imagine what we can achieve if we put our hearts together. Slowly, hands began to rise. "I'll help with fundraising," said a local baker. "I can teach cooking classes," chimed in an elderly woman. Ideas flowed, and for the first time, Sarah felt the true strength of unity. Yet, as plans began to take shape, challenges loomed. Fundraising events were initially met with mixed results. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah found herself in the diner late at night, reviewing spreadsheets, overwhelmed by numbers that seemed unyielding. "Mom, you be working too much," Jake said one evening, catching her as she sat at the table, a frown etched on her face. "You promised we'd go to the park together." "I know, sweetheart, I am sorry," she replied, her heart aching as she ruffled his hair. "I am just trying to make this dream a reality." "Dreams are better when they're reshared," Emma added, her innocent wisdom leaving Sarah speechless. She looked at her children, their bright eyes reflecting hope, and felt a swell of love. "You be right, let us go." The next day, they spent the afternoon at the park, running freely, laughing, and forgetting about the weight of responsibilities, if only for a little while. It was moments like these that reminded her of her purpose, reigniting the flame of hope within her. As summer approached, the community rallied around Sarah's vision. Events were organized, each one more successful than the last. They held bake sales, car washes, and even a talent show, showcasing the town's hidden talent. Each effort reinforced their connection, and the laughter echoed long into the evenings. But just when things seemed to be on an upswing, tragedy struck. One evening, Sarah received a call from Martin. "There has been a setback," he said, his tone somber. "Some investors pulled out, and we might have to reconsider our plans." Panic rose in Sarah's chest. "What does this mean for our community center?" "We might have to scale back," he replied cautiously. "I am doing everything I can, but I need you to prepare the community for the possibility." The weight of his words hung heavily in the air. Sarah gathered her courage as she hung up the phone, her heart racing. "How can I tell them?" she whispered to herself. That evening, she called for another community meeting. As she stood before her neighbors, fear gnawed at her insides. "I have some difficult news," she began, her voice wavering. "Our plans for the community center might be in jeopardy. Some funding has fallen through." Gasps filled the room, and she felt the disappointment wash over the crowd like a wave. "But," she continued, her voice steadying, "we've built something incredible together already. We've shared laughter and ideas that cannot be taken away." A voice broke through the murmurs. "We can't give up now." It was the elderly woman from before, her hands trembling slightly. "What if we organize more events? We have to fight for this." Encouraged, others began to speak up. "We can host a community fair, something big. Let us show them how much we care," another neighbor shouted. Sarah's heart surged with pride, admiration swelling within her. "Yes, let us do that. Together, we can show the world that we are stronger than any obstacle that stands in our way." And so, they rallied, pouring their love and energy into planning the fair. Days turned into a blur of activity, laughter, and shared sweat. On the day of the event, the sun shone brightly, illuminating the smiles on every face in the crowd. As families gathered, Sarah looked around, tears prickling her eyes. They had transformed the community garden into a lively fairground filled with booths, games, and delicious food. Children's laughter danced in the air, a beautiful symphony of resilience echoing throughout the space. Fair raised more funds than they had anticipated, and the sense of unity that permeated the day reminded Sarah of why she had started this journey. They had not only built a garden, but a community, a new narrative woven from laughter, kindness, and hope. Weeks later, Sarah stood before Martin again, this time with a renewed sense of purpose. "We did it, the fair was a success, and we've proven that this community is worth investing in." Martin smiled, a warmth spreading across his face. "I knew you could do it, Sarah. Let us move forward with the community center project. I'll find a way to make it happen." As spring faded to summer, the plans for the community center took shape, fueled by the collective spirit of Willow Creek, a testament to their resilience. Each brick laid was a symbol of their journey, a reminder that hope could flourish where despair once lingered. And every evening, as Sarah tucked her children into bed, she felt lighter. "Mom, are we really going to have a community center?" Emma asked one night, her eyes wide with wonder. "Yes, sweetheart, "We're going to have a place that brings us all together," Sarah replied, kissing her forehead gently. "And it's because of the love and strength we shared as a community. The journey ahead would still hold challenges, and the road would be long. But Sarah knew one thing for certain: together they would rise. Together they would thrive. And in that unity, they had already transformed the world around them one seed of hope at a time." As summer deepened, the excitement in Willow Creek was palpable. The community center project was no longer just an idea, it was becoming a reality, and Sarah found herself at the heart of it all. The once timid woman who had been mocked for her circumstances now stood tall, her resolve forged in the fires of struggle and hope. One Saturday morning, Sarah gathered her neighbors for a brainstorming session at the garden. Children played nearby, their laughter a sweet backdrop to the serious discussions taking place. Sarah stood before the group, a mixture of anticipation and nerves fluttering in her stomach. "Thank you for coming, everyone," she began, her voice steady. "Today, I want to hear your ideas for what we can offer at the community center. This is our chance to create something amazing together." Murmurs of agreement flowed through the crowd, and hands shot up in enthusiasm. An older gentleman named Mr. Thompson, his face withered but smiling, cleared his throat. "How about offering gardening workshops? We have so much knowledge right here in our community." "That's great," Sarah replied, her spirit lifting. "Hands-on activities will be essential for bringing folks together." Next, Maria, a single mother new to the town, chimed in. "I could teach sewing and crafting. A lot of us might benefit from learning new skills to earn a little extra income." "Yes, Sarah exclaimed, her heart swelling. "The more we share skills, the more self-sufficient we become." As the ideas flowed to cooking classes, tutoring for children, wellness workshops, Sarah felt a sense of purpose that buoyed her even higher. Yet, beneath her excitement, a nagging worry persisted. How would they manage to keep the momentum going? Would the funding continue to flow? Days turned into weeks, and planning the community center became Sarah's new normal. Even as she juggled motherhood and her work at the diner, she found strength in her growing support system. Neighbors who had once mocked her now rallied at her side, eager to help. Love blossomed where there had once been disdain. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Sarah found herself lying on the grass, gazing up at the heavens. Emma and Jake were beside her, pointing out the first twinkling stars. "Look, Mum, that one is huge," Jake exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with wonder. Sarah smiled, though her mind churned with worries about the center's future. "You both have such vivid imaginations, you know, we should dream as big as those stars." "Like a community center where everyone can learn and grow?" Emma asked, her voice soft yet hopeful. "Exactly, sweetheart," Sarah replied, a spark igniting in her heart. "But it is not just about dreaming, it is about making those dreams come true." Just as hope filled the air, it was swiftly overshadowed by a wave of uncertainty. In the following days, news came crashing down like a storm. Martin called Sarah with a troubled voice. "Sarah, I have some bad news. The funding from one of our investors has fallen through. We may need to cut back on some of the center's features." A hard drop. "What does that mean for the workshops and community programs we planned?" "We'll have to prioritize, and I am afraid some programs may have to be postponed," he replied, his voice filled with regret. "No," Sarah responded, a sense of urgency rising in her chest. "Not after everything we've built. The community is counting on us. There might be other options, but you need to prepare for the possibility of doing less than we hoped," he said gently. As she hung up the phone, despair washed over her. How could she face the community after everything they had worked for? The very thought of disappointing them filled her with dread. That evening, Sarah gathered her children for a family meeting at the kitchen table. "Kids, I have something important to discuss," she began, her heart heavy. "There may be changes coming with the community center project." "What kind of changes?" Jake asked, his young face scrunching up in confusion. "Some funding has fallen through, and we may not be able to offer everything we wanted," Sarah admitted, tears glistening in her eyes. "But I need you both to know that whatever happens, we'll still have each other." Emma reached out, placing her small hand over her mother's. "We're strong, Mom. We can get through anything together." The unwavering faith bolstered Sarah's spirit, as she knew she had to rally the community. They had fought too hard to let anything extinguish their flame of hope. The next day, she organized an emergency meeting at the garden, calling everyone to come together once more. As neighbors gathered, Sarah felt the familiar flutter of nerves in her stomach but pushed through, determined to be transparent. Thank you all for coming on such short notice, she began, her voice quivering slightly. I have some difficult news due to unexpected changes in funding. We may need to adjust our plans for the community center. I know this isn't what we hoped for. A silence fell over the group, and Sarah could see the disappointment etched on their faces. But before we let this discourage us, I want to remind you of everything we've achieved so far. We've created connection, laughter, and love, and that can't be taken away. Mr. Thompson stood up, his face serious yet proud. We didn't come this far to back down now. We can still find ways to make this work. We need to think outside the box. A bake sale, shouted Maria, her voice rising with enthusiasm. Let us host a community event to raise funds. We won't let this dream fade away. Echoes of agreement filled the garden, and Sarah felt the warmth of unity envelop her. Yes, we can do this together. We'll plan a festival that showcases our talents, crafts, and food, and we'll spread the word far and wide. Excitement buzzed through the crowd, and ideas flew around like confetti. They plan a Willow Creek Unity Festival to be held in 2 weeks, with booths, games, and performances. Each person in attendance volunteered, each ready to contribute their skills and resources. As the days counted down to the festival, Sarah threw herself into organizing with a fervor that felt almost electric. She met with volunteers at the garden every evening, laughter and camaraderie filling the air, each person determined to make the event a success. But as she worked tirelessly, fatigue began to set in. One night, as she returned home past midnight, she found Emma waiting for her little face scrunched up with worry. "Mom, when will you have time for us?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "You promised me we'd bake cookies tomorrow." Sarah knelt down, pulling Emma into a warm embrace. "I am so sorry, sweetheart. I've been so busy, but I promise after the festival, we will have a special baking day, just you and me." "Okay," Emma replied, though her voice was soft, and Sarah could hear the disappointment lingering beneath the surface. That night, as Sarah crawled into bed exhausted, she felt a pang of guilt. She had put so much emphasis on a project, hoping to create a better future for her children, yet was she neglecting the present? The fleeting moments that mattered most? But despite her worry, the festival day dawned bright and beautiful. The town square buzzed with excitement, colorful banners adorned the trees, and the aroma of baked goods wafted through the air. Sarah's heart swelled as she watched families come together, children running, laughter ringing like music. As the festival unfolded, Sarah felt the community, a spirit of resilience bloom. They shared stories and talents, and every booth overflowed with creativity. Neighbors who had once been distant now hugged and cheered one another on, their newfound connections a testament to what they had built together. "Look at this, Mom!" Jake shouted, tugging at her sleeve as he showcased his handmade crafts. "I made these for the fair. They were incredible, buddy." Sarah's heart soared as she hugged him close. "You were so talented." As the day progressed, Sarah took a moment at the festival center, surrounded by the beautiful chaos of laughter, colors, and warmth. She felt a surge of gratitude for the community that had become her family. And in that moment, she realized that they had already succeeded beyond her wildest dreams. Later that evening, as the sun began to set, the crowd settled down, and Sarah took the stage to address everyone. The lights flickered, casting a golden glow over the crowd, and she could see familiar faces beaming with hope. "Thank you all for coming together today," she started, her voice filled with emotion. "This festival is a reminder of what we can achieve when we unite. Together, we've transformed our struggles into joy, and that is worth celebrating." The crowd erupted in applause, and Sarah felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. "We may have faced setbacks, but we've also proven our strength. The community center is still within reach, and with each of you by my side, I know we will make it a reality." As the cheers echoed in the warm evening air, she felt a surge of determination wash over her. They would rise together, no matter the challenges ahead. Hope was alive, and the human spirit, when fueled by love and community, could overcome anything. And as the festival continued into the evening, Sarah watched her community thrive in a tapestry of joy and resilience interwoven with hard work and love. Children danced under strings of twinkling lights, their laughter echoing like a melody that filled her heart with warmth. As dusk deepened, the glow of lanterns hung from trees illuminated the faces of those who had once looked down on her, now united in a shared purpose. Sarah felt her spirit lift, buoyed by the camaraderie that had blossomed over the past months. "Mom, can we have a lemonade stand next year?" Jake asked, his eyes wide with excitement as he clutched his handmade crafts. "Absolutely, you'll be in charge, okay?" Sarah replied, grinning. "You'll have to teach everyone how to make the best lemonade." I will, I promise, Jake stated confidently, his youthful enthusiasm infectious. Emma wandered over, her hands sticky with cotton candy, a gleeful smile plastered across her face. Look, Mom, I made a friend. Her name is Lily, and she has the best ideas for a garden club. Sarah's heart swelled with pride. That is wonderful, sweetie. You know, clubs can help us learn together. You can help each other grow as friends. The joy radiating from her children filled her with hope, even as the weight of responsibility lingered. She glanced around to see Martin weaving through the crowd, a contemplative look on his face. As he approached her, the warmth of their past conversations surrounded them like a shared secret. Sarah, Martin began, his voice steady but tinged with urgency. The festival has exceeded our expectations. It is the community, it is spirit that has really shone through. Thank you, Martin. You've played a huge part in this, she replied, feeling the sincerity of his words. I just hope it is enough to keep our vision alive. I've been thinking, he said, glancing around the crowd. Perhaps we can secure additional funding if we can show sponsors the strength of the community as support. This festival is just what we need, a demonstration. Are you saying we can leverage this momentum? Sarah asked, her heart racing with excitement. Exactly, he affirmed, his eyes sparkling with possibility. If we can present the community center as a beacon of hope, there are investors who might want to be part of it. Then let us do it, she declared, determination filling her voice. We'll all gather stories, photos, testimonials, anything we can to show the impact we've already made. As the festival drew to a close, Sarah felt a new fire igniting within her. The challenges they had faced were not mere obstacles, they were the very fabric of their story, woven with threads of resilience and unity. Weeks passed after the festival, and the energy of that day lingered. They collected stories from neighbors who had benefited from the garden, who had found friendship and support amid adversity. Sarah compiled photos of laughter, shared meals, and vibrant blooms. They were tangible proof that Willow Creek had ignited a spark. One evening, as she sat surrounded by her children, Sarah reflected on everything they had achieved together. You know, sometimes it feels like the world is against us, but what we've built here is powerful, she said, her voice soft but unwavering. Emma snuggled closer, her small hand resting on Sarah's arm. We're strong, Mom, just like the flowers in our garden. Yes, Sarah replied, her heart swelling with love. And just like those flowers, we can keep growing, even when storms come. That the storm came in the form of uncertainty. As Sarah prepared to present their proposal to potential sponsors, a sense of doubt crept in. She had grown accustomed to overcoming challenges, but now, this felt monumental. Mom, are you okay? Jake asked, noticing her furrowed brow as they sat at the kitchen table, the dim light flickering overhead. You look worried. I am just nervous about tomorrow's meeting, she admitted, glancing at her children. I want to make sure I do right by our community. You will, Mom, you really like a superhero, Jake said, his eyes shining with conviction. That's right, Emma chimed in. You showed everyone that we can be brave. Inspired by their unwavering belief in her, Sarah felt her fears begin to melt away. That night, she wrote and rewrote her presentation, pouring her heart into every word, embracing the weight of her dreams. The following morning, she stood in front of a panel of investors and community leaders. Her heart raced as she glanced at the faces that had once doubted her. Thank you for being here today, she began, her voice steady despite the tremor within. I am here to share a vision, one born from this community, from laughter and kindness that transcends our circumstances. Sarah spoke passionately about the community center, outlining the programs they planned, emphasizing the need for connection and support. She shared stories of families who had come together in the garden, bonding over shared struggles and dreams. As she looked around the room, she saw Martin nodding in approval. The warmth of his encouragement washed over her, fueling her fire. By the time she finished, the room erupted in applause. She looked at the panelists, hope blooming within her as they exchanged glances. Thank you, Sarah. This is a powerful presentation, one of the investors said, a thoughtful expression on his face. You've shown us the heart of Willow Creek, and I believe this community center can make a significant difference. Absolutely, Martin added, standing tall. The strength of this community is undeniable, and I am committed to ensuring we secure the funding necessary to make this vision a reality. A wave of relief washed over Sarah, and her heart soared. They were on the brink of something incredible, not just for herself, but for everyone in Willow Creek. Yet, challenges were never far behind. With the funding secured, they began construction on the community center, but the excitement was met with unanticipated setbacks. Weather delays, miscommunications with contractors, and financial miscalculations threatened to derail them. Sarah stayed up late into the nights, poring over plans and budgets, her spirit dimming under the weight of responsibility. One evening, as she lay in bed, she couldn't shake the feeling of failure creeping in. "Wow." Emma's soft voice broke through the darkness. "Are you okay?" "I am just feeling a bit overwhelmed, sweetheart," Sarah replied, her heart aching. "Remember what you always say, even flowers have to fight through the dirt to grow," Emma said, her innocent wisdom shining through. Sarah smiled, albeit weakly. "You're right, thank you, love. I just need to remember why we're doing this." "You're the best mom ever, and I believe in you," Jake chimed in, and her heart swelled. With renewed determination, Sarah began to reframe their challenges as opportunities. They held community meetings to address concerns, inviting neighbors to offer solutions and share their expertise. It was during one of those meetings that an unexpected ally stepped forward, a retired contractor named Mr. Harris, whose experience could help streamline the construction process. "I'd like to volunteer my services," he offered, his voice steady. "Let us work together to make this happen." With Mr. Harris's expertise, they navigated the complexities of construction, and slowly but surely, the community center began to take shape. Each day brought fresh challenges, but the triumphs felt even more rewarding. As the walls rose, so did the spirit of Willow Creek. Volunteer days flourished, and laughter echoed as neighbors painted murals, planted flowers, and built something beautiful together. The community center was no longer just a building, it was a symbol of their resilience, a testament to everything they had overcome. One bright afternoon, as Sarah knelt beside Emma and Jake planting herbs in the center's garden, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment wash over her. "Look at what we've done together," she said, her heart swelling with pride. "This is amazing, Mom. We're recreating a place for everyone," Emma exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "Yes, and it has helped because we believed in each other," Sarah replied, her smile radiant. As spring turned to summer, the center officially opened its doors. The joy radiating throughout the community was palpable, the culmination of dreams, struggles, and hope manifesting into something real. During the grand opening, Sarah stood before a crowd that had witnessed her journey, her heart swelling as she took in the sea of smiles. "Today, we celebrate not just a building, but the spirit of Willow Creek," she began, her voice steady. "This center is a testament to our collective strength, proof that we can rise above our challenges when we work together." As cheers erupted, Sarah looked out to see Martin beaming with pride, his support unwavering. The community center was alive with activity, filled with laughter and connection, a sanctuary where dreams could flourish. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the festivities, Sarah found herself surrounded by her children. "Look at our garden, Mom." Jake pointed, excitement radiating from him. "It is beautiful." Sarah smiled, her heart overflowing with gratitude. "Yes, it is, just like our community." Emma took her hand, squeezing it tightly. "We did this together." "Together," Sarah echoed, her voice filled with emotion. In that moment, she realized that